a month for 30 returning lessee. Use 3 RAM coupons while supply lasts. Jeep, America's iconic four-wheel drive brand. $2,500 cash for trade and other conditions apply. Get full details from the dealer. Equipment and MSRP vary by model. We're here to fully serve Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Massillon, Fairport, and throughout the Metro and Finger Lakes. Get out of the house and get that new ride you've been wanting. Victor, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, 6560 Anthony Drive in Victor.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll see partly cloudy skies, pretty comfortable out there. That near full moon will be shining bright.
Okay, Tim, stand by.
It'll be in the 50s and 60s. Friday, another beautiful day. Partly to mostly sunny. Temperatures in the 70s to near 80 on Saturday. Morning sunshine, then some clouds will increase. Could be a shower or a thunderstorm by Saturday night. Temp Saturday in the 80s. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
WYSL. Now, an hour of clarity for exhausted people of our nation mired in toxic partisanship. Left versus right. Us versus them. While we pay to keep our politicians fighting, how do we, the people, rise
Okay, we got Stephanie. We're good.
solve the great challenges of our time? We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
All right, welcome to the Thursday, July 22nd edition of A Free Solution. It's me, Tim O'Connor, coming at you live on WYSL and WACK, Rochester, Avon, Spencerport, and Newark. And guys, remember my tagline, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's courage to continue that counts. And so joining me today in today's quest for liberty and freedom, and someone who has experienced firsthand the courage it takes to run as an unlikely winner in today's political landscape. Stephanie Cognac Jackson, Onondaga area Republican, Libertarian. Welcome, Stephanie. How are you doing today?
Hi, Tim. I'm doing really well. You butchered my maiden name, Conic.
I am so sorry about that. I'm truly horrible at this stuff. I promise to get better, but there are things that I'm always going to mess up, and that one of those things is people's names. But please,
that's not an easy spelling.
So one of the things that you and I shared some events together, I think people need to know that you ran an unlikely campaign, like that you were a Republican Libertarian in a purely almost 100% Democratic stronghold. How did you make out?
Okay, let me be perfectly clear. Until this election, I had never registered to vote. Okay.
That's amazing.
So I knew I had to do something because I was for my kids locally in my community, and it was just growing, right? And coming from communism, my grandparents, okay, everything has been sounding the alarm in me for years now, okay? And everybody always thinks that we're just, conspiracy minded, and the truth is that we're just free thinkers. And when I set out to do that, I realized no one is going. The person who is running Onondaga County and it's for the Assembly District 128 is Pamela Hunter, a Democrat. She was the chair of the Democrat Party. She's two-time unopposed. The Republicans weren't even putting anyone up against her. I had to do something, and nobody else was. But what I found was that the political party, if you're not in the good old boys club, they're not going to back you if you don't raise all this money and stuff. Mind you, I was running through COVID, but while I was fighting on the streets for people to open up their businesses.
Yeah. How big of a challenge? Let's talk about break it down with that COVID thing. Like what particularly, how did COVID affect your campaign strategy?
Well, I couldn't hold fundraisers, okay, because a lot of things were shut down. And it got to a point where I realized that the Republican Party was more concerned with putting their money and time and effort into a bigger race, the Senate race, races with Angie Renna and Sam. And so I was just kind of top liver and on my own, first time candidate. And what happened was I really stood for our rights and the people backed me. And that's what I think is going to really happen this time because the people are going to get involved in this next election big time. And it's not even about
hang on,
party
can I
anymore.
let me jump in. It sounds to me like you're talking about running again. Is that a possibility? You're not going to just give up here?
Oh no. Honestly, I'm thinking about challenging John Castro. I did let the Conservative Party know. I went after my election. I immediately left the Republican Party, not because I don't stand for some of the things that align with the Republican Party, but because half of the people that are Republicans, or maybe more than half, they're really rhinos. They're just part of this globalist buckle, part of an agenda, and they're at, you're a libertarian, so you know what I mean.
I am a libertarian, and there's lots of reasons why. One of the reasons why I think is kind of what you're pointing at right here, that there are people that love the state and people that will do anything to support the state. And the Republicans have gotten to the point all over the country, but in particular in New York State, where they're like the bad parent. The Democrats are saying, here, let you have 7 candy bars. And the Republicans come back and say, with a wagging finger and a bad attitude, you can only have 3 candy bars. And so we're more responsible than the Democrats. But they're both talking about giving you free candy bars, right? I mean, isn't that at least part of the problem?
Of course. But the problem is massive and has to change altogether, right? To change things in New York right now, you would have to fight and overturn so many unjust, unconstitutional laws. And some people say, okay, well, we could argue and debate the Constitution. I'm a Constitution coach. Most people don't even know accurate history of the founders, the signing of our Constitution, or what always seems to get away from people is the original intent, right? We're nowhere close to the original intent of these authors, okay? For people to understand how we can live free with our God-given rights, right? That didn't have anything to do with skin color or where you came from. That came from this country. And one of the things that I teach in my Constitution class is about this gift that the Pilgrims left to us. And I found out about it from Kirk Cameron. He has a thing called like a monument on this. And it was literally them who risked their life to get away from the king to come to give that to their families and how to do it. What was the roadmap to do it? Through God, through how we teach our children from the down generation to the next generation, how we have just laws. And it's so much deeper than that. And so because of my relationship with God, it's moved me through these different positions and because of who I am to get to this point today where I feel like from my generation of my grandparents to now, I'm facing the demon in the head, right? And I can't back down from that. And
hang on a second. I want to throw a curveball at you. Are you with me? Here it comes. All right. The Constitution, as a libertarian, I think sometimes libertarians will make this point that the Constitution delineates our rights that occur naturally. But what has happened because we created the Constitution, it actually has become a tool to, literally the income tax is codified into law in the Constitution. So the Constitution itself maybe contributed to something. And guys, this is a philosophical discussion. You constitutionalists, I believe in our rights. I believe in our individual liberties, but this is a philosophical discussion. So maybe the Constitution itself needs to be reworked and taken right back to square one. What do you think about that?
100%. That would be the roadmap, okay? Because it was done with good intentions. It wasn't what most people would be led to believe or what's being taught in schools today. And I offer a free class to teach the real, like from wall builders, from going to those original places through Patriot Academy. And I offer that when I have time to do that online, where I'll meet once a week for 6 weeks and offer the material for free so people can actually learn this information. And when they do, it's like, you know, that missing connection, I think, for a lot of people, that changes things. At least it did for me. And I touched a lot of people's lives in doing so in the same way, because I get to share some pieces of me, right? It's hard to support when, like, people could not know me and say, oh my God, I don't like that big mouth woman. She's always talking about this and that and third. But then when you actually know me, you have to, like, how do you not like me? How do you not love me? I'm such a good person. I wouldn't hurt a fly.
That is such great self-confidence. Hey, I have another question for you. Oh, and it sounds like we're coming up on a break. Guys, it's Tim O'Connor and Stephanie Jackson. Live on the Free Solution, WYSL, WACK, and all over the internet. Live on the Free Solution, live at Tim O'Connor for Liberty, live on Twitter. We welcome your comments. I'll pass them along to Stephanie. Coming up, we are going to talk about a free solution.
Okay, you're clear.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers
Everything's sounding great.
are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your.
I appreciate that. No, you're doing fine. You're doing a great job on the hosting. And she said, just between us kids, she sounds better on the phone than she did with her laptop. So
8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating.
yeah, we'll be back in about 2 minutes. Stand by.
At 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
The Finger Lakes Castle team is in its 7th decade of factory direct service to the service professional. From cleaning the ins and outs of your vehicle to keeping you on the road, Castle's got you covered. Castle makes streak-proof glass cleaner, FDA-registered sanitizers, and EPA-registered hospital-grade disinfectants. Remember, when you need to keep it clean, use what the pros use. Castle. Accept no substitutes.
A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passers-by are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website
Stand by, Tim.
dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
Back. It's me, Tim O'Connor, your host on Thursdays. But let's not forget, A Free Solution also offers Kevin Wilson Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Larry Sharp pretty much every Tuesday, who also does shows 5 nights a week. He's out at Freedom Fest, so he was unable to make it this week. But let's remember, guys, if you want to add this to your local programming, get in touch with me. If you want to add to your advertising repertoire, let us know at WYSL and WACK, and we'll be glad to bring you on board. A shout out to my friend Brian LaRusso, a shout out to my friend Andrew Hamill, and a shout out to my friends joining us on the internet right now, making comments, because that kind of stuff is what keeps me doing this. Andrew Hamill, Ryan Bedford, Brian LaRusso, thank you guys very much. With me, Stephanie Connick Jackson. Connick Jackson. And Stephanie, how many votes did you manage to squire away up there in the central New York area?
Well, a good amount, especially because there's people who still don't know about me, right? Even though I'm like a pressure cooker right now, doing so much work behind the scenes that I feel like this is a boiling point, as we were talking about before the break, that we're looking at communism in our faces, okay? And it's not so much about the political parties right now. It's about the people.
Are we
right?
talking about real communism? Because communism has never actually been tried anywhere in the entire world. It's always been a politicized process that the United States has undermined. Is that what we're talking about? Are we staring real communism in the face? Because I have been guaranteed on several occasions that once we try real communism, we're all going to love it.
Oh, yeah, right. Let me just tell you how my 14 and 12-year-old grandparents lost their parents to starvation death at the hands of Joseph Stalin. And my grandfather at 12 years old had a 1-year-old baby brother left to feed. They ate rotten potatoes out of dead people's homes, okay?
So let's explore some of those details. What country did your grandparents come from, Stephanie?
Ukraine.
Okay. So they're still struggling with socialism and communism over there, aren't they?
Wait, it doesn't exist, does it? It's never been tried.
Real communism.
Oh. Not where we're all dead yet.
Yeah, no. So please follow that. You're saying your grandparents actually escaped communism, brought your family here, and now 1 generation, 2 generations later, you're actually running for office and trying to change the world. Is that correct?
Well, 1 generation ago, they were taken to Nazi labor camps. As young kids, my grandparents had my father, and then the church sponsored them to come to Auburn, New York. And so I'm a first generation American, and I lost my grandparents when they were about 60, and I was probably about 10. And I have a lot of memories and so much unanswered stuff that I dig about because that's my family. And knowing their stories rocks my core to this day when I think about my children and how much I love them and how it happens, right? How it occurs by certain changing of laws with the media, with, and it's still too far-fetched for people to talk about, but it's so serious that I dedicate my life outside of taking care of my children to fighting the causes to ensure that where I live in this country, my children never have to face this. So we're like the generations that are going to have to do something about this. And a lot of people don't get that. They don't think it's that serious. But this country is now divided. You look at Florida and you look at New York and you look at those drastic differences of what it's supposed to be like to be an American, okay? Because being an American is actually the privilege. It's not being white, it's being American. That's the privilege. And it's because I firmly believe God has blessed this country with the intent of what those men and women came here to fight for their families and for their kids.
All right, let me challenge you a little bit. Let me push back, not push back, but what do you say to people that aren't particularly invested in religion? Do you think they're crazy? Can they still believe in freedom? Can they still contribute to your cause?
100%, because, at some point, everyone's going to have to believe in something, okay? And I respect people who are angry with God, who've walked away from, people can't make good decisions unless they're fully informed. And so we have a lot of misinformed, ill-informed people in the world right now. And I mean, there's so many places to put that blame, especially in our education systems.
Yeah.
But, that's a whole nother topic on a whole nother show.
Yeah.
But
So you
I
found
am
one.
considering,
But
before we dig into divide, I am considering a race against TACO, but there's redistricting going on right now.
yeah.
And I know that Angie Renna also had an interest in that position. And I know that Trump was going to back someone who runs. And I did do some things during my campaign to support those issues. However, when it came time for Angie's race, she did not contest the election like Claudia Tenney did. And it was a very close race. She was actually winning with John Mannion. And that, in a time like that, for what was going on in our country, I felt that, she would be a rhino at that point because not only that, I was kicked off of social media by Mark Zuckerberg, who donated $280,000 to the Onondaga County Board of Elections during my campaign. And then do you know when I got my Facebook that could never be back? I thought I lost like 15 years of my children's life pictures and everything.
Right. 2 days after the election.
January 20th.
Oh, really? That's pretty interesting when they were solidifying the new commander in chief. Hey, let me throw this at you. As we start talking about what a better path forward for New York State might be, you're going to run for office, but you're in favor of something. You've done a lot of action. Let's introduce this notion about one of the reasons why we're here today. We're talking about the possibility of dividing New York State up into smaller parts. And as a libertarian, you think that that's going to be a potential solution? Because I know libertarians may not think that's a great solution.
Correct. I think they need to know more about it.
So let's hear it. What do we got?
Yeah. So first of all, advocate for smaller government. Okay. Do we want to govern ourselves, or do we want Albany and New York City Democrats to govern for us in upstate New York? Okay. And Long Island has different reasons, but feels much the same. And you cannot count out New York City residents right now where everyone says they're all Democrats. Listen, there are a lot of unhappy New York City residents right now because of the things, the crime, and the way this has all gone down. Okay.
So check this out. Let me interrupt you for a second.
Sure.
I talked to a guy a couple of weeks ago that is campaigning for New York State governor. He's out of the New York City area. He was live on WACK and WYSL and all over the internet with me. His name is Derek Gibson. Have you met Derek Gibson? Do you know of Derek Gibson?
I absolutely do. I had him on a podcast a few years back, and he, like myself, is a true patriot. So I support him. He supports Divide also.
So as a New York City resident, you're saying Derek Gibson supports Divide New York? Because I didn't have that specific piece of the conversation with him. He did do a couple things, and Stephanie, bear with me. He was talking about bringing the National Guard into New York City and straightening out this violence and stuff like that. Again, as a libertarian, I see big state activity as potentially dangerous. And how do they back away from it once they take that action? That doesn't mean he's wrong. And I actually thought he had a lot of potential as a candidate. I thought he brought a lot of great issues to the table. And I had a lot of fun talking to him. And he does lives on Facebook. You guys should check him out. He's very, very interesting. He's very straightforward. What else would you say about or to Derek Gibson? Or whatever else you want to talk about. I'm handing you the ball back.
I think he's a wonderful candidate. I think he would totally change the state of New York. I think that no party, he will get no support from any political party, just like myself, just like libertarians, honestly. Thank God that you guys are growing, even though we can't vote for any libertarians in New York State right now. So
we can. It's just going to be a big challenge. We have some,
election, right? Yeah.
Let me give a little breakdown on that before the break. As it comes to the Libertarian Party, what we lost was automatic ballot access. And so what happened there is we can still petition to be on the ballot as libertarians. It's just that we have a much higher standard than we originally had. So based on our party number sizes, we were allowed a proportional number of petitioners to support our campaigns and get us on the ballot. But what happened is instead, they raised the bar, they changed the laws, and they invalidated the ease of access to the ballot system. That doesn't mean we won't get on the ballot, because I think we have a lot of dedicated libertarians that want to make impact in some statewide races. And I think we're going to do some work to get our ballot access back. So back to you again, Stephanie. I'm sorry about that, but I wanted to keep that line
thanks
clear.
for clearing that up. I just meant like now, right now. We have a mayoral race coming up. I know that the Libertarian candidate here, he ran as a Republican.
Okay, and here we go again, guys. We'll talk about that guy when we come back. This is WYSL and WACK, and we're live at A Free Solution at Tim O'Connor for Liberty. We're live on the YouTubes, the Periscope. And guys, WYSL has a podcast page. Please, every libertarian wants to have a podcast. Please check out me, Kevin, and Larry on the WYSL podcast page. And we'll be back after the bottom of the hour.
And you're clear. Yeah, good. Yeah, everything's great. Easy to do, easy to do.
Fly the flag, stand for freedom. AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5.
Okay, get relaxed for 5 minutes here.
The latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll see partly cloudy skies, pretty comfortable out there. That near full moon will be shining bright. Temperatures will be in the 50s and 60s. Friday, another beautiful day. Partly to mostly sunny. Temperatures in the 70s to near 80 on Saturday. Morning sunshine, then some clouds will increase. Could be a shower or a thunderstorm by Saturday night. Temp Saturday in the 80s. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Some heroes fight fires. Some heroes fight crimes. Some heroes fight bullies.
Some heroes can't see. Some heroes can't walk. Some heroes can't speak.
Some heroes need helmets. Some heroes have handcuffs. Some heroes wear prosthetics.
Some heroes climb ladders. Some heroes have sirens, and some heroes have IEPs.
Some heroes get medals. Some heroes get hurt. All heroes have courage.
Who is your hero? Together, let's celebrate our heroes on Saturday, July 24th from 9 to 1 at Challenger Miracle Field of Greater Rochester, 1000 Ridge Road in Webster, New York, right next to Town Hall. Festivities include baseball games, food trucks, a dunk tank, carnival games, police vehicles, fire truck, a mounted patrol, a visit from Spikes, and much more. Bring a hero, meet a hero, be a hero. To learn more about Miracle Field, go to rochestermiraclefield.org.
Geneseo Hardware and Rental, Route 20A in Geneseo, is Livingston County's most complete rental center. Geneseo Hardware and Rental has a wide selection of equipment rental items for all your project needs. Over 6,000 square feet with a large selection of plumbing, electrical, home and garden, and much more. Geneseo Hardware offers Valspar paint, plus screen and window repair. Route 20A next to Wegmans Plaza. Visit Geneseo-rental.com.
Geneseo Hardware and Rental has your pool and spa needs. inside the Taylor Laboratories.
Hey, Tony, what you doing?
A little experiment, Zach. Look what I have under the microscope.
Ugh, what's that?
A sample of indoor air.
How can it be that dirty? Don't AC and furnace filters help?
Only with dust, Zach. But when Taylor installs a whole house APCO air purifier to detox the air, odors, chemicals, mold, bacteria, and viruses are removed.
For clean indoor air.
Yep. Ain't science awesome?
Taylor, 500 help. Car crash, Salino.
Hi, I'm Ross Salino. For decades, Western New Yorkers have trusted me when they've been seriously injured in a car accident, because I won't settle until you get what you deserve.
Car crash, Salino. Salino, Salino. 888-2020.
Main Street, Rochester.
Funerals can be expensive. You may be surprised to learn that you can get Bartolomeo and Prado Funeral Homes 5-star service at a price you can afford. They understand one price doesn't fit all and strive to ensure that your needs are met within your budget. Their family of funeral homes are a part of helping to achieve that goal. But above all else, they promise quality service. The details are taken care of so you can focus on what's important. Find out more by calling Bartolomeo and Prado Funeral Home.
Okay, Tim, coming back after this. When you wait for a couple of beats, let me get the music up, and then hop on.
Don't live with broken, missing, or failing teeth. Lakeview Dental can restore your smile with state-of-the-art dental care. Their approach is providing reliable, comfortable solutions for the long term. Eliminate those endless visits to deal with recurring problems with your teeth. Address your dental concerns once and for all. Find out more at LavoniaSmiles.com or call 346-3028. Lakeview Dental, for the smile of a healthier you.
WYSL.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, guys, let's stick on back on WYSL, WACK, and all over the internet. The comments are rolling in. I'm having a blast today. I want to do a little shout out. I want to thank Ryan. I want to thank Eric. I want to thank Doreen for being here. Guys, this show goes all the way out to Colorado thanks to the miracle of the modern internet. So I want to give a shout out to my brother who happens to be 52 years old today. This show has been heard as far away as Colorado. With me today, and I'm going to skip her maiden name, Stephanie Jackson. And right now we're going to go back to the subject about dividing up New York. What do you say, Stephanie? You with me?
I'm with you. And it's really easy to remember. I always joke around. It's spelled K-O-N-Y-K. I always say King of New York. And people used to call me Chronic. Stephanie Chronic. Chronic.
I wonder where that comes from.
So, divide.
Yeah.
We were talking about Derek, and he supports divide. So I do support him, and my thoughts, I'm my own person, and I just feel that I don't agree with every political person or party, definitely not party lines. And just because someone has similar ideologies as myself doesn't mean that they think the same way across the board on everything. So I don't know about the National Guard in the city either, but
right.
Supporting New York, being from New York, supporting divide, that breaks New York State into 3 autonomous regions, right? So it reduces Andrew Cuomo's powers down to the Queen of England because each region would have its own governor, okay? It would have a token state government where we in our region decide we'll have our own assembly, our own senate, just the same. But they'll be all new people. We decide, okay? And we will now a lot of things, and more than that, how it essentially will break down is there is a constitution that we have for New Amsterdam, which is our region upstate. Long Island has its own movement. New York City has its own movement for different reasons. But one of the biggest things that I always hear is that upstate New York could never survive without the billions sent from New York City, which is complete bullshit. because that's assuming that we would run the state the same way. There's a study in from 2012, I believe, that was done by like the Rockefellers. Okay, that should tell you something. But also, the reason why is there's so much burden on counties here for Medicaid, for state-funded programs. Okay, we would not do that here. Okay, first of all. Second of all, we have empty infrastructure galore that once were manufacturing plants that are now jobs in China. So people here, in Syracuse, for example, have one of the highest concentrated poverty in the world, in the country, in the nation. They want jobs, okay? They want to go make $400 or $500 or more a week to be better. Like, that's better than welfare, okay?
Right. Let me ask you this: what is New York City doing that prevents us from having jobs? I have answers, but I want to hear your answers. Okay, like you talk about what New York City has.
Well, I'm talking
done
about
for the
laws.
upstate
I'm
economy.
talking about regulations. I'm talking about taxes, regulations that drove hundreds of thousands of manufacturing jobs out of New York State.
Otsego County, where I'm from, just lost a huge asset as far as the manufacturing business goes. We lost what's called medical coaches. We used to put like MRIs and positron emission tomographers in the back of tractor trailers and haul them all over the world, bringing rural medical services, state of the art, to local rural communities. It was an impressive gig. And now I feel as though the New York tax-based power structure has chased them away. That's what you're talking about, right? Things like losing businesses like that is what's
right. We'll bring those jobs back. We have people who want to work. Okay, we need that. And more than that is that farming is hard in New York. I know so many farmers, and there's not a meat shortage. When we were in COVID, that wasn't happening. What happened was the meat processing plants were closed down. People were having to let meat spoil and milk spoil because of the people. They're forced to have to go to the packaging. Like, there's no reason that we need this type of regulation over our land. We have issues with eminent domain going on. I mean, there's just so much. We need to protect what we have. Yes, move in a more conservative direction. I support that 100% because, like I said, we're going back to the Constitution. We want the laws of the land and the rights of the people to be restored. My support of this means I want where I live in upstate New York to be represented by the people, period. If we have to cut it out and do it ourselves so that we can control ourselves some more, then I support it. But
listen, we already have on the books in the New York State Constitution, Article 9, our local communities have the rights to make the laws as they see fit to govern themselves. Does that tie into this game plan?
100%. You can see on an election map how much red there is in Onondaga, or not in Onondaga County, but in New York State, right? It is the cities that make up the population of this vote that occurs. And so that's something that I'm working through now, taking that information. And as the new co-chair to Divide Movement, I have taken it upon to look up where do we have Republican majority legislatures, town supervisors, right, and our local government. And I want them to support this because what we have is a problem in a trifecta in New York of Democrats controlling us. And in the Assembly and in the Senate, it's the same majority. But if local ordinances will pass this home rule resolution, then it forces the assembly or county person to co-sponsor the bill, right? And when you're talking about a payoff of billions of dollars, Andrew Cuomo may very well sign that.
Yeah, you may very well. Hey, check this out. I got a great comment coming in from a Facebook user, my buddy Tiny Zeus out there. He wants to say this, and I think it makes a lot of sense in the context of what we're talking about. And I appreciate the comments coming in, and we'd love to do phone calls, but unfortunately, Stephanie had to connect via phone today, so I think that limits us to have other phone callers call in. But my buddy Tiny Zoo says, in his mind, New York State is split up millions of times, and he says, for example, I'm the governor, police, senator, etc., of my yard and property, and I see others as doing the same for theirs. And he says, wouldn't that be lovely? And I'm telling you what, that would be lovely. We have abrogated our property rights to a centralized power structure in New York State. It's Tim O'Connor and Stephanie Jackson. We're live talking about Divide New York State on WYSL and WACK. Thank you all for joining us. We got one more segment. I hope you all come back. Ask your questions, and we're having a blast today. Thank you all.
Okay, you're clear.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax. We would like to thank our Lord for protecting us from evil. Psalm 91 states, He is my refuge and my fortress, for He will rescue us from every trap and protect us from deadly disease.
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys who specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results.
We are also a small firm who will treat you like family and not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36, so if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure.
All right, Tim, back in 30.
IT needs are. SimpleTech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
A free solution.
Okay, it's me, Tim O'Connor, live on WYSL and WACK, Spencerport, Avon, Rochester, and Newark, and all over the internet, guys. A free solution, Tim O'Connor for Liberty. Also, guys, on YouTube, on Periscope, and guys, we're also available at the WYSL page as a podcast if you want to check us out at a later date. We've been having some great comments and a great interchange with my friend, Stephanie Jackson. We did campaign events together. We were both crazy enough to run campaigns in what would be presumptively losing races, where unknown libertarians, Stephanie co-opted the Republican lineup towards Syracuse. I think that we're trying to change the dynamics of New York State, and we're trying to make things better for future generations. And so Stephanie is working actively with this whole Divide New York program. And she's got some ideas that she's sharing with us today. And so I'm going to hand the ball back to Stephanie right now.
Yeah, so basically in a nutshell, what we were talking about before the break was how I'm trying to add to this caucus, Divide New York caucus, I became the co-chair and secretary for, because it is something that I support. And there's many, many reasons why. If you want to find out more information, you can go to dividenewyork.com. It's a new website that I put together. There's a vast amount of information that you can find there. How to write to your assembly and senators, which there is an Assembly Bill A04446 and Senate Bill 4541. David DiPietro is the author. We did an event here on Divide New York and on this bill. And what the real objective that we're trying to do is take advantage of the Republican majority held counties across New York State and really put the pressure on them. Do you support this or not? Because if they are able to support that and pass that resolution, it obliges the assembly or senator to sponsor or co-sponsor that bill. And we know that there's no other way that a Democrat will probably do that. However, interesting enough, besides me putting in that work and trying to bring people to awareness, there's a sample letter on the email that you can copy and paste to send to your local legislators. If you support this, please do that. Reach out to us in any way, because we need more people to get involved. Always, that's a welcome thing. And let me know what you're good at, because that's important. But before I go off on that,
hang on, I want to jump in because I did some research on the Divide New York movement before we did our show together. And I have some conflicting information, and perhaps you and I can hash it out and get everybody a little bit more on the same page. There's an active bill in front of the New York State Assembly right now. It's A5498, and it is sponsored by the guy that you mentioned, Dave DiPietro, who, guys, he's a Republican, he's a conservative. He's also not the worst legislator out there. I found some of his stances to be very proactive, somewhat liberty-minded, not as liberty-minded as me, and not as liberty-minded as Stephanie, and not as liberty-minded as guys like Dwayne Whitmer or Larry Sharp or Kevin Wilson, who also shares this platform with us. But he's willing to take this in the right direction. He's willing to fight for this. I also, Stephanie, have a list of names. Check this out, because he has some co-sponsors on his assembly bill. John Salka, who happens to be my assembly representative, and again, a guy that I don't dislike. He was supportive of libertarian messaging. He stood up for the libertarian candidate who was getting frozen. The guy that was competing against him, he stood up for him and tried to get him on the debate stages. I like John Salka. A lot of my local conservative friends like John Salka. But again, would I love to pull him in a more libertarian direction? Yes, and I'm going to try. And that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to popularize libertarianism. So I've got some other names: a Peter Lawrence, a Clifford Crouch, a Philip Palmisano, Marjorie Burns. My apologies, Marjorie, if I got your name wrong. And if you want to come on the show and tell me how to say your name, please do. We also have a Stephen Hawley and a Brian Kolb. Okay, so these guys, if these guys are your assembly representative, you don't necessarily need to reach out to them. And that includes Dave DiPietro, okay? But if your assembly representative wasn't in that list of names, and if you want this list of names, feel free to contact me. I can put you in the direction of the websites, okay? If your representative, your assembly representative, is not amongst that list of names, they perhaps need to hear from you about the Divide New York thing. So, to swing it back to you, I'm looking for a sister version in the Senate, and the the senator before the guy that got elected, the guy that I ran against, Senator Jim Seward used to sponsor this legislation in the New York State Senate. I'm not seeing a number for that as an active bill. And I was, as a matter of fact, by the way, a member of the LPNY Legislative Affairs Committee, so I have a pretty good base and a pretty good knowledge of how to look up bills and explore who sponsored them. But it's actually easy. Anyone can do it. But anyway, Stephanie,
S4541 is an active bill for the 2021 legislation. It's sponsored by Cam Helming, and the co-sponsors on the bill are George Borrello, Peter Oberacker, Daphne Jordan, and Thomas O'Mara.
yeah, Peter O'Rocker's the guys whose name I don't really use because I ran against him, and his crew managed to invalidate my petitions to get on the ballot, and I was very disappointed by that. That being said, he is trying very hard to serve our community. I give everyone the benefit of the doubt, and I wish him the best of luck. Okay, so I want to be clear about my feelings about my local politicians. I know it's a hard job. I know odds are stacked against them sometimes, but I also want to drag them all towards a more libertarian existence and a better liberty for each and every individual in this state.
Matters. So if we're not able to talk to these people and support them or find where the common ground is, so that you're able to talk about those things, then we're not going to grow, right? I mean,
correct.
For the same reasons our paths cross, right? And I think that we're all learning, and none of us can say that we're not. I hope we never stop. So I don't want the political party thing to divide the people anymore, because we all want similar things. We need to find that common ground for each other. And it's important for the bigger picture, which some people don't see or agree, but I stand by it. I hope that I think that there's a man in the military who is a conservative who's going to step up and run for Chicago.
3 minutes.
I don't really want to run for that race, okay? But I would if I have to, again. So I hope that there will be another person that can step up there, because I am really busy with other things, as you can see, that I feel important on. And in addition to, and this goes away from the July New York caucus, but I do support division in more than just the autonomous region way. I do support statehood as well. And there is also a possibility of that happening right now with the Democrats' push for Puerto Rico. It's Congress Bill H.R. 1522. It's sponsored by Darren Soto out of Florida. It's a bipartisan bill. I contacted the Republicans in New York State and Congress with a joint resolution to include New Amsterdam.
2 minutes.
Already lost our Senate seats. And we would stand to lose 2 more if Puerto Rico became a state. So this would balance it so that upstate would have representation. Upstate New York would become its own state.
Yeah,
and
Stephanie, I hate to do this to you, right? Because this subject is actually huge, and proper political action is a big subject. And I think that we all recognize the fact that for far too long, we have been underrepresented in New York State, that our views, and guys, this goes back before the Republicans became a second ram party in New York State, okay? We were not, individuals, the middle-class Americans in upstate New York were not getting adequately represented in New York State. And it's been going on for a really, really long time. We're heading down to the end of the show, Stephanie, and we had a little conversation. Literally, this hour is not enough to cover everything that you want to cover. So I've posted links. We'll do some more work about helping you get your message out.
You'll see me more. I have a lot coming up that I'm going to be a part of, so you'll see me more. I've just been quiet because I've been doing a lot behind the scenes. But this summer, you're going to see me at a lot of events, speaking events, and some new things that I have in the works. So I'm so happy you had me. I'm great to talk to you, and I'll come back again.
It was literally my pleasure, Stephanie. We've done some podcasts together in the past. We did live meetups with Larry Sharp. Guys, Larry Sharp, I would also love to have him run for governor. He's a realist. He needs some encouragement. We've got to fundraise for him. No one is going to work harder at dragging people towards liberty than my friend, Larry Sharp, the guy that shares this.
To help us divide New York and become our governor.
And WYSL and WACK out of Newark, guys. It's an absolute pleasure to share this hour a week with you. Tomorrow, Kevin and I, Big News Friday. I'm going to troll him more about Trump being the most libertarian president ever because he hates that. But he's a great guy. I hope you join us. And thank you all for being here.
You're clear. Good job.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Summertime means new good weather adventures with a little help from Victor Chevrolet. Make memories this summer in your 2021 Equinox all-wheel drive LS. Lease it for just $269.95 per month for 39 months. Or enjoy the versatility of a tough and roomy